I mean, in my mind, except TL and C9, we are definitely the biggest contender for the title. And if people don't think so, I don't care. It's good for us.
I don't care.
The way he says it,
Yeah.
I don't care.
But now I think that pushes them in the conversation again to remind people they're defending champions. We're going right into the highlights for this one because there were a lot of them to cover. 28 kills in 28 minutes and coming within one game of Cloud9 for the top spot.
And the way it started did not look good either. This was not like a clean game from level 1. Malphite, when you pick him, has this one problem into Graves where you can get shoved off your point in a point defense so easily. But you also don't want to start on the bot side of the map and clear up to Malphite because level 3, you can't really do anything. So junglers want to start on the Malphite side of the map, but it's also the weakest point on the map. And I think, you know, for the most part, C9 abused that, and it looked like they were off to a good start.
Yeah, and then we have, this is the
solo
kill from Someday. Essentially, you know, proving us wrong, being like, no, I am still
Doesn't matter.
the top laner you need to go through.
Yeah.
He actually ended up getting player of the game for his Malphite play. I actually thought just off the cuff, Malphite was such a great counter pick in this matchup.
Yeah, you can see the dive here as well. Didn't work out for C9. Gets FBI really far ahead. So they have Someday just being a monster on Malphite. They have FBI on the other side of the map on Aphelios really taking over. And I also kind of want to call back to the interview that Someday gave after the game where he's like, not really getting that much credit, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think he's actually going to get a little bit of credit here because Summit, who was the lane opponent that he killed multiple times, died 8 times that game, many times to the hands of Someday's Malphite.
Yeah, I think the whole team played well. It was hard to actually pick an MVP for this game because that bot dive, Huni played that really well. FBI played the entire game extremely well. You have Someday popping off. Abadage was very nice when his reactions with the teleports. Like, everyone played well this game. It was kind of a slaughter of the best team in NA right now.
It was also a really nice, like, return to form for what we know 100 Thieves as a team, where they love diving, right? They love pushing their advantages. They love going forward.
So, during waiting room, we did Mount Summit because he was far and away the leader in the MVP conversation. He still probably is, but we have to touch in on it.
Yeah, we have to.
Mount Summit.
Again.
He was at the top.
Yeah.
Is he still like that was a really poor game. It was a big game for Someday. Emily drew Someday for us, by the way.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, that's way better than I
I have
could
to
do.
make some adjustments. One, this is not a bad drawing for 2 minutes done, you know, with a Sharpie. This is incredible. Summit has to come down, right? He's not on the peak after that game.
He's probably still the highest.
I definitely think he's still the highest.
Yeah.
He's still MVP favorite for
Okay.
sure.
Somebody needs to be on the
Let's
mountain.
just get rid of these two, right?
That's rude, but sure, it's fine.
For the sake of simplicity.
Yeah.
Closer?
He's still there. He did fine. But Someday's got to be at least parallel, I think.
He recovered really well, actually, I will say. Closer did.
Is this the MVP race now? Something like that?
Yeah.
So Mount TL is on your right.
Yeah,
like
you
camera
still
right.
have to include TL. They're just chilling.
Yeah, it's so hard to pick a TL MVP because they all have like an equal contribution to the team's success, it feels like.
Yeah.
So we're on Mount Summit, but what a wild series of events.
Well, so I was talking about, like, what does it take to unseat him from MVP? We said
08 is a start.
08 is a start.
You got some tape on your foot?
Stuck to your shoe.
Yeah, I stepped on
Blue on your foot.
No.
That's rude.
I'm sorry, Blue.
He can still make playoffs.
I'm sorry,
Mark.
Blue. But so the 0-8 start is a problem.
Yeah.
The 7-game win streak now, while taking down the #1 team for 100 Thieves, is going to be a huge story.
Yeah.
If Cloud9 drop another game, they fall to 3rd in the regular season. Let's say somehow 100 Thieves climb up to the very top if Team Liquid drop a game. Like, there's still a lot to be said at the top of the table, and that greatly influences MVP voting if you're the best team in the regular season.
Yeah.
And here's where you need to go back and look at their season, because you were talking about it, and I know Raz absolutely loves Closer, so I'll try to represent Raz here as well. But he was like, basically like, okay, Closer is the reason why they kind of still stayed in the running, even when the team was obviously struggling. But now I feel like you absolutely have to look back at those games and be like, how much was Closer? How much was Someday? The
Dragging
two of them in
across the finish
tandem,
line.
making sure that even when the rest of the team was not playing well, they were still able to take games.
Yeah, it makes the top of the standings much more interesting than we thought it would be coming into this week.
Yeah.
But we're also going to look ahead to our next matchup. It's TSM CLG, and Contractz reflects on one of the LCS's oldest rivalries. Let's listen in.
I mean, if I had to rate the TSM versus CLG rivalry at its peak, it would definitely be like a Naruto versus Sasuke kind of thing. You know, just two top dogs fighting in the championships. You know, just blow for blow. I think that's something I'd compare it to. Now, maybe Sakura versus Ino.
Okay,
What's the analysis?
do you know
No,
Naruto?
I'm on
Oh
YouTube.
god, that was
I
hilarious.
don't know how to say this in a not like
Flamey way.
flamey way to
Yeah.
Naruto, but like there's a tournament arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the anime in manga always did her a little dirty, but it was
Yeah.
like her and her rival, which was always like the B or C
Yeah.
storyline
Yeah.
in this tournament arc that like people didn't really care about, and they were like, go
Okay.
back to Naruto and
Only
Sasuke.
they cared about.
Yeah. So I still care. Contractz, all right?
I still care about this rivalry. I mean, I feel like it's always important, even when they played the first time this split, to try and put the other team in the dirt, right? And there is a real opportunity still, even though TSM, they failed their Miyoko run last game.
Yep.
It's impossible. Cloud9 actually has like a pretty real chance. The dream is more alive than you would think. I believe we just moved the telestrator. So this was like TSM's road for playoffs yesterday.
And you set it on fire.
Yeah, it was just like, this is done. So I hope we have the CLG one. Otherwise, I can just explain it. Yeah, I gotta select the new clip. Uh-oh, Mark.
Okay.
Mark.
Press that
This
one.
one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the right corner. You
Yep.
see it? Is that?
No,
is it
it's
in
not there.
It's not in there?
It's not there. Anyway, I'm walking back over here. So here's how it works. CLG just has to win. Oh, it's there. It's there. It's there. It's
Oh,
there.
there
It's
we
there.
go.
I can't draw it. Doesn't matter. This is actually pretty simple. CLG beats TSM. CLG beats EG. And in a dream scenario, 100 Thieves actually makes sure Dignitas doesn't tie with them, and Golden Guardians prevents a three-way tie. CLG would just be in, and EG would be out. If CLG wins those two games and other things happen, they'll still be able to get tiebreaker games in some of the scenarios. So even though they're 6-10, the words here is they're in control of their own destiny. If they just win, they'll actually be in playoffs. But that starts with beating TSM.
I like the added and EG's nightmare, right?
It is.
Because we
Yeah.
were talking about them tied with this pack, and now if CLG win out, that is the nightmare scenario for them.
And last time they played, it was a hyped up game as well because that was when TSM was most on fire, and that was
Yeah.
where all the Reggie memes were coming
Yep.
in, and CLG kind of stomped them. So I think for TSM right now, it's like, okay, we can put an end to this dream that you're talking about that CLG has. You can also, with this win, knock out Dignitas
Yep.
out of playoffs. Dignitas is the biggest CLG fans right now. So this game has a ton on the line for playoff implications, and for TSM, it's a pride battle. You don't want to go 0-2 versus
Yeah.
CLG. You don't want to be in the Naruto versus Sasuke.
Yeah.
I don't know which one would be the bad one, but the loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, weirdly enough, Golden Guardians and EG are huge TSM fans right now
Yeah.
because
Yep.
a victory for TSM means both those teams are just in the playoffs. Because even though Dignitas can still get to 8 wins, they're 0-2 against both the teams above them, so they would be locked into 7th. Like, our playoff picture can be solidified with the TSM win, a team that's not even involved in the playoffs, which is really cool. Also need to note that TSM is playing from home, and they really don't want to be lower than CLG. We know that. And even if they are lower than CLG, making sure CLG doesn't make it into the playoffs is pretty huge. But let's talk about the actual game a little bit. And CLG, Luger and Poome have been good.
They've been the engine for the team, and all, or maybe not engine's the right word. How do you put it? Like, Contractz and Palafox feel like a lot of times the playmakers for the
Yeah.
team, but all that gold is supposed to be going into Luger. He's like the investment. He's like bonds. He's like a safe investment. If you give him gold, it will be paid off later. It's just about can CLG get the food in his mouth to feed him. That's the struggle that they've had this split, more than if Luger can actually carry once he's ahead.
Yeah, he's in that typical AD carry dilemma, right? Where if they don't, let's just say they don't get the engine started for whatever reason, Contractz and Palafox aren't able to make the most of their mid jungle early, because I do feel like that's where a lot of CLG's playmaking comes from, like you said, then Luger's gonna have fewer opportunities to pop off in team fights, right?
And
So-
oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, so like they're so reliant on what happens early still, but that doesn't mean that even in some of these losses, Luger and Poome aren't still having really great games just as a duo.
The thing I was going to throw in there was they did have a comeback yesterday versus Immortals, but that felt a lot on Immortals being a team that is struggling a lot right now. And CLG, if they want this dream scenario you're talking about, can't rely on the teams they're playing against 3 more times in a row to fail once they're that far ahead.
Yeah, they actually need to play well. Like, they had a resurgence 2 weeks ago. Then CLG had the TLC9 week where they did 0-2, and then really they're up trying to get into this 3-0. We got about 4 more minutes, so I want to talk about like what TSM needs to do to win, and then what CLG needs to do to win. Because for me with TSM, when they focus on early game, they've at least looked better. Because, and this is something that I think is true for a lot of struggling teams or teams that just have been losing to like, okay, better teams, is having a spot with which you can win from is way more important than hoping that some scaling turns on later. And I feel like TSM at least acknowledged that with what Takeover has brought to the team. It just obviously didn't work in their game yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I look at when TSM have been successful, obviously tactical was like a massive force for this team in team fights, right? But what ended up getting there was even in earlier losses, having pushing lanes around something like, say, Huni playing Rumble, something he's super comfortable on, or putting Takeover on something where he will be able to go to side lanes and be comfortable with like the Sylas pick, for example. So I do think they still need like the late game insurance from tactical, especially since his team fighting has been so good lately. But it starts with pushing lanes and whether Shenyi and Spica can be on the same page.
A huge part of it, I think the Huni point's a good call out. He has had, in kind of traditional Huni style, a volatile split. He's a very aggressive player, and he's even when he's on winning teams doing well, he's getting memed in the losses often for how it looks because he pushes his advantages so hard. And now that he's on arguably one of the worst teams in the league, he gets it even harder. But actually, there's been a number of games where through the first 10 minutes, through strictly laning phase, he was playing really well, and then the team just kind of exploded around him, and it would spill over to top lane. And so I do think he's one of these people that you can try to play around early, whether it's that Rumble pick or whatever, get him a winning matchup. Use that early aggression now from Spica and your, Takeover and try and get into the top lane.
Yeah, and I also think with TSM, the fact that they're on their like 7th different player on their roster makes it harder for them to find that level of cohesion. And CLG, the argument would be like, looking at the path from this team going back 2 years ago, 9th, 10th, 9th, 10th, now they've totally blown things up. It was looking pretty grim for a while, but pretty remarkable that the fact that they can be sitting at 6 and 10, and as we talked about earlier, they win here. They also have Kobe casting. That's got to help.
Oh, I forgot about the Kobe buff today.
Kobe's going to be in, so get ready for him and Flowers to bring this to you. And there's the hope. Is hope dangerous? I know this is a stupid analysis point, but this always happens. As soon as you're like, oh yeah, CLG has that chance,
they let you down.
It falls.
Yeah, and that's what's scary is I want like protagonist mentality to apply to CLG. It's been a long time since it felt like they were the protagonist. Like they've been the one that you beat on the way up the mountain. You know, like it's been a while since they had the insane run that left everyone cheering for them. And I think it would be crazy to use the Naruto Sasuke comparison and be like, there, you guys are Naruto. The story's about you. You make a 3-0 run. Kobe's casting the rest of their games this weekend. I don't know if that's true. But
he could.
I'm changing his health assignments.
Yeah,
he's doing it
it's
now.
possible.
So
that's how scripted LCS could be.
I would love it. I want that for CLG, for the org that did try a different approach this year.
Yeah, and I also think like when you compare these two rebuilds, obviously TSM has had a lot of internal and external issues. But for CLG, despite the fact that they're still towards the bottom of the standings, I still enjoy watching this team. They still make plays. They've said that they have a really good cohesion on the team. So I also kind of just want to see them succeed for that reason, especially with so many inexperienced NA players getting a shot. All
right, so to recap the playoff scenario, CLG, if they win all their games, they're going to be in. If you want Dignitas to have a chance at the playoffs,
CLG fan.
You're
a
rooting
CLG
for
fan.
CLG.
If you want EG or Golden Guardians to make the playoffs, you're a TSM fan. If you're a TSM fan, you want TSM to win. If you're TSM fan, you want TSM to lose. I don't need to explain that part. It has nothing to do with playoffs, but still entertaining. So let's see if the faithful should be rewarded as we toss it to Captain Flowers and Kobe.
Thank you so much, chat. Welcome, everybody. CLG's fate is on the line, and we've got the man with the plan to bring it to you.
Turns out I am casting all 3 of CLG's Super Week games. Casted yesterday, they won. We've got the next 2 coming up. And I'm actually going to start by giving TSM some tips.
Okay, what do you got?
If you're looking against CLG, there's one thing that stands out above any other in draft against CLG. Do you know what it is?
No, dude, I'm a Skarner player. I don't know how to draft.
Camp. It is Luger has played 11 games of Jinx. The next most played AD carry for them has 2 plays.
So you're telling me that TSM had better have watched Arcane?
Jinx from Arcane.
Okay, let's see.
Whoa! We got a preview. I saw Jinx from Arcane right there.
All right.
Spoilers!
All right, well, let's see what we get then. We're into the draft, and we got some focus on mid laners here at the start. Twisted Fate, Rise, banned away. Kai'Sa taken off the board.
I can't remember what all the other ones were, so we're just gonna go through like this. Twisted Fate is a very good ban also against CLG, because if we're gonna start this out by laying out the battle plan against CLG, to be fair here, all of their success in their recent surge has come from some very coordinated strategical decisions. Some improvements that you can see consistently with this team. They always focus on these dive comps that have something for Palafox to roam from mid to bottom. Their focus is on getting Luger fed. Luger has been their most reliable, most consistent source of damage and source of wins for this team. So it's no surprise that they want to draft stuff like the Twisted Fate. Now, he has also used things like Ahri, other assassin champions that can make picks and can roam from mid lane. And then the other one is, once they gank bottom lane, they unlock Poome, and Poome goes to roam with Contractz into your jungle and play very aggressively as the jungle support duo. So good ban so far from TSM.
But no Jinx.
And they get the first. See, this is it. This is the trade. And since we got the spoilers already, we know CLG are going to get Jinx in trade for the Zeri. They knowingly kind of give up the Zeri. They let Tactical get his hands on it because they know Tactical is one of the AD carries that first jumped on playing Zeri as soon as she was released, and TSM will take that trade.
Instant lock on the Jinx after thinking about that Lee Sin there for a moment. So a playmaker in the jungle, that hyper carry you're talking about in the bottom lane for CLG.
All right, and they got Contractz the Lee Sin as well. It is important to get Contractz a jungle champion with a lot of mobility. Because sometimes he gets himself into some dangerous scenarios.
He gets a little hyphy.
He's gonna need a safeguard out. So that's I like to pick up here with the Lee Sin for them. Let's see about TSM's response. They will match jungle. So Spica with the Jarvan definitely has early playmaking abilities. Jarvan also is notoriously good against Jinx. Jinx has no escapes, can't get out of Cataclysm. And a classic combo, they hover over the Huni Rumble, but Jarvan plus Rumble, the hot pot, the spicy hot pot combo, and the fact that it is Huni's Rumble, the Rumble that has the most faith of any player champion combo on TSM, I believe, it just further cements this lock-in from them. Now, CLG, let's see. They've got kind of an opening here. They can match top and get Jenkins the counter pick now, or they can try and grab, support here instead to get some safety for the Jinx and deny some of those hot pot combos, the Jarvan Cataclysm plus Rumble Ultimate over the top of it. It's necessary as soon as you see that to try and get some defensive support there for the Jinx, because as we stated, Luger is the pinnacle. He is the pillar of the CLG win con.
All right, CLG, they've got the Kench, and of course we'll have to watch during these fights because Poome's job will be stay close enough to Luger that you're able to save him from the hot pot, but don't stay so close that you end up being an extra ingredient in that hot pot. So that'll be his job. Let's see how the second part of the bans go.
No fish in the hot pot flowers.
No fish in the hot pot. Not this time. It needs to be seafood free for CLG.
No
now,
frogs, no
Yumi
fish.
is banned out. Camille banned away. We do not have synced up picks here in the first half of the draft, so we might see different priority here. CLG strictly focusing support with the Rakan and Yumi bans. Let's see if TSM continues looking at that top side. They already banned out the Camille to keep the Rumble safe from that, and will ban out the Ahri now as well, one of those other mid laners that you mentioned for roaming.
Yep, those are the two that CLG used very successfully, so it does look like TSM were taking notes. So TSM analysts definitely getting their pay for the pick ban this time around, though they did give over the Jinx, and we'll see about that. Their attack plan to kill the Jinx right now does look pretty good. They're going to have to worry about that Tahm Kench safety, and you know what? CLG match the Huni iconic pick of Rumble with the Bob Jenkins iconic pick of Kenne. Jenkins came up as a Kenne player, basically the most feared single champion in his repertoire, and now he's slamming it down against Huni's best. This is honestly, and they were talking about different anime arcs and different anime battles on the analyst desk and in the interview with Contractz. This is one. This is the top lane LCS anime battle. Choose your most iconic champion and go at it.
I'm going to say this is like Gundams because it's cool and Gundams are cool, and that's the only anime I really know, but I'm excited for it. The iconic AP top laners from both of these guys. It'll be LeBlanc in the mid lane for Takeover. It'll be Soraka as the support pick for Shenyi.
This is a perfect Vex angle. Perfect counter into LeBlanc. Palafox played a Vex game yesterday already. And it has to be. That is the single most perfect counter into LeBlanc now. The only other one would be Lissandra, and that one is a lot less offensive. Vex is basically Lissandra with more range. And yes, you have less defensive options, but you have way higher highs. You have big one-shot combos that you can also get resets on your ultimate with. And Palafox, I know for a fact, has played a decent amount of Vex and showed a pretty strong performance yesterday on it. So definitely happy for CLG to get that for him. It does mean they've got double AP solo laners, much like TSM. So a lot of AP in this game. There will be some magic resistance purchased on both sides, some null magic mantles picked up, and let's get right to it. CLG versus TSM in 2022 for playoffs lives.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so.
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
A lion! Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull. Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion. I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you. Red Bull gives you wings.
Man, I am excited for this after what we see out of the drafts. Top laners on their iconic AP AoE picks. Junglers on active early playmakers. Mid laners on OMG WTF one-shot champions. This one's gonna be good.
You're singing me a sweet song here, Flowers. I like that intro. Let's get it. All right, CLG, with a level 1 plan here down to the bottom side, they're going to try and pinch Tactical, but Tactical walks out into the river, so they can't actually get their level 1 off. What you usually do with that level 1 is come from both sides of the tri-brush, assuming someone from TSM is waiting in there on the point defense that Mark has been talking about. But because Tactical pokes his head out, they see the early play, so TSM get the early information, they avoid the invade from CLG, and they got some vision for themselves down. The payment vision right here.
Yep.
Ward over the back of the Baron pit. Looks like that was Spica's ward, or actually he has Sweeper now too. That was Takeover's ward. So Takeover goes, places his as well. And we've got double drop down. Oh, it was the reset. So it was Tactical got his Spica got his reset off. Switch over to the Sweeper now, and we shall see if one of them uses it on the red buff.
And we have CLG's bottom lane duo here just sitting in this forwardmost brush, ready to jump out and see if there might be any advantages they can find, as TSM's bottom lane will now be moving through the tri-brush. Of course, CLG is now able to reveal their position, and we're not going to get anything super cheeky as they make their way into the lane. Junglers are starting off on opposite sides of the map, both beginning with their red buffs and then heading towards those Raptor camps. Over in mid lane, Takeover versus Palafox. You already talked about how Palafox is super happy to play Vex into this matchup because it's so effective against the LeBlanc.
Yeah, it's really good shutting down her dashes, and it's basically burst combo versus burst combo. And Vex with the fear has a huge advantage in that. So it's basically the most common counter pick nowadays in the current iteration of the LeBlanc meta. Yep. You can always fall back on like Malzahar or Lissandra, but those are older champions, Flowers. And as you know, we tend to favor the newer ones. Tracking the jungle though, because we talked about Spica's ward that was here and Takeover's ward that was here. It saw the start for Contractz, so they know that he is red Raptors and down into blue quadrant now. So TSM should have a very good idea of where Lee Sin is, of where Contractz is right now. You don't actually have vision on him, but you are able to extrapolate your early...
You can infer some information.
Exactly. Extrapolate your from your early data where he is going to be. He has not crossed over yet, so we shall see about this bottom lane pushing out. And we just saw a defensive tri-ward there from the TSM bottom lane as well. Takeover in mid, now going to be the target, though. He just used his W, but
he's so close to
the wave is pushed up at his turret, so Contractz. And then that's why I point out the tri-brush ward here from Tactical and Shenyi.
Oh, but Tactical already has to flash away anyway. Contractz throws out a Q, but he's not going to land that one. TSM back away. Yes, they lose the flash in their AD carry, but no real damage done.
Can they deny, though? Because that would be real damage. Palafox made the roam, and so very, very, very cautious here from Shenyi and Tactical. They wait until that recall from Palafox goes off. Meanwhile, Jenkins under attack.
Jenkins getting jumped on as Spica's waiting for him there in the tri-brush. Flash coming out from the TSM jungler to continue the chase. Jenkins is trying to get away from this, but Jarvan's just whooping him over the head here over and over and over and over and over again. Jenkins, you better run, buddy.
He's out.
All right, he's out. But man, that one, he had to be sweating on that one.
That electric rat's got more than one trick. Nice stun there. Gets the extra charge with his E to be able to get this.
If you weren't casting it, he dies there.
Stun rock off. Contractz is still lurking around bottom side. Remember, Flower, CLG, very much bottom focused. They do leave Jenkins by himself on the top side very, very frequently, letting Jenkins be the weak side player while trying to get as much resources into Luger as they possibly can. Thus far, it has basically turned out with Tactical's flash being blown in exchange for both of Jenkins' summoners. So TSM technically winning out in summoners blown over this game, but CLG have their advantage towards the area of the map that they would much prefer.
Exactly. Now, the chicken interrupts the recall there.
CLG chickens right there.
Yeah, the CLG chickens playing for their own side despite the fact that Spica's the one getting the money from him. 2v2 in bottom lane. Oh, Shenyi, one more hit would have got him, but he gets away in time with the flash. Luger and Poome running the show here in the bottom 2v2.
Yeah, that was good by Shenyi. Lays down his root first and then flashes away, so it procs on Luger. They can't finish the kill on him yet, but Contractz is sniffing around. Again, the Palafox Contractz roams to bottom side. You know they're coming, but what can you do about it?
Spica's gonna walk right into the brush and see him waiting there. The fear into the sonic wave resonating. Strike! Spica gets away and he turns it around for the first blood as Poome now has to back away too. Beautifully done from TSM.
In a 3 versus 4, Flowers TSM turn around the CLG plan. They flip that table over. Oh my goodness, the burst damage there. They get the kill on Contractz. That is a huge, huge outplay from the TSM bottom side. Spica knows that they're gonna come bottom. The roam is pinged out, and he goes into the brush to see it first. Even so, still surprising that they were able to focus enough, because the initiation onto Spica was actually quite good. But the exhaust onto Contractz, and then Spica EQs backwards over Contractz and away from Luger, away from the CLG DPS. So very good positioning there in the skirmish of the 3v4 to get isolated focus fire down onto the Lee Sin and exhausting him to make sure that Spica doesn't go down. TSM outplaying there for the first blood.
Very nicely done. A 1,000 gold lead here for TSM 7 minutes into the game. But we're getting to the point where ultimates are coming online, Mr. Kobe. We've got Jenkins' ulti, we've got Huni's ulti. How bloody is this one going to get here? Jenkins throws a little bit of damage back into him. Huni is overheated. Jenkins with another Thundering Shuriken, not going to find the mark. Remember, neither one of these guys can join a fight anywhere else. No teleport available for Jenkins. Huni has Ignite, so they can't join any fights.
I want to see them use their ults on each other, Flowers. I want fire and lightning. Fire and lightning up there, baby. Let's get it. Bottom side, CLG will pick up the dragon because you see Spica rotating up towards that top side of the map. Meanwhile, on that top side, they do have their level 6s, so those ults are ready. The flash from Jenkins still not up, so it would definitely be an advantage to Huni in this scenario.
Well, we've got Palafox and Takeover trading back and forth a little more. Nicely done there. Takeover forcing the flash out of Palafox to avoid the second part of the chain. Now bottom lane, this could turn bloody here again. Poome jumps over the wall, tries to find the knock-up, hoping Tactical would step forward, but he doesn't. Contractz going after his own red, but it's Spica and Huni planning to invade. These tight jungle corridors, that's where Rumble loves to ult. Red is going to be let go as Contractz recognizes TSM making a play for this. And with TSM committing more bodies, this is troublesome for CLG. Huni just drops the equalizer to keep Jenkins away. Spica can now deal with this. Contractz can't connect the Sonic Wave in time. Spica goes right back in, grabs himself the red, and now Huni's going after Jenkins. He burns him down, and Spica plants the flag on the corpse.
Flash advantage by Huni means everything there. He's able to flash on Jenkins. Jenkins still not able to get his cooldown back from the earlier visit from Spica, and so TSM abusing the point of the map where they had the cooldown advantages. They both won the fight on the bottom side where CLG originally had advantage, and they make good on their advantage on top side. This game definitely going the way of TSM in the opening here. It's also going to be Rift Herald on top of a 1.8 thousand gold lead. Remember, Flowers, this game for CLG is everything.
Do or die.
This is them being able to continue their hopes for qualifying for playoffs. They have got to get this win.
Well, it's time to stabilize then. Whatever's happening right now, we got to stop that from happening anymore because it's a 1,500 gold lead for TSM. Rift Herald in pocket as Spica picks that one up and makes his recall back to base, so that's going to be even more money waiting to be cashed in on. Luger's Jinx, this is the thing we got to keep our eyes on. You said in draft, this is the key component for all the CLG wins. Luger's doing fine right now, tied with his opponent in terms of farm. Jinx is not traditionally one of those champions that you want to see pop off early. So as this game goes forward, we need to see CLG and the entirety of their team keep everything together enough for Jinx to hit the part of the game that she can take over.
Definitely agree. Plus, because of the way that TSM leveraged their flash advantage previously, now Huni's will be on cooldown, Jenkins is back and available. Maybe they can turn the tables up there. Flash with Kenne ultimates can be a very, very useful tool for one of either the 1v1 up there with Huni or the team fight with the rest of TSM. TSM hovering down here on this control where they've got really nice deep vision into the blue quadrant of CLG's jungle. And Palafox is correctly giving plenty of safety to himself by cautiously playing way back. His flash is blown. He knows Takeover, all he has to do is jump in and throw a chain on him, and it's going to be a kill. So,
ooh, Tactical walking right into the brush there, but he's gobbled up. Poome's taking a bite out of him, spits him back down onto the chompers. Luger throws out the Super Mega Death Rocket, but the exhaust prevents it from becoming lethal. CLG, they win out in that 2v2 for now, but Shenyi will be able to restore Tactical's health pretty swiftly.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I feel like they could have gone a little bit more aggressive on it to chase down Tactical there, but they're afraid of the extra heals coming through from Shenyi, healing him back up. If you don't win the all-in skirmish, though, he's going to heal him up regardless, and now Tactical will be back to full health shortly off of these Soraka heals.
There it is.
It was a good attempt at the all-in. Maybe a little bit deterred too much from the exhaust. Tactical also was holding on to his own heal, so trying to bait a little bit there with the Soraka heals plus his own summoner heal.
Well, it's AoE wombo combo time. Spica's ready to go, and Jenkins jumps in first. Now, who's going to be the first to die? Jenkins should go. Spica's on a killing spree, and Contractz is thrown up into the air. He cannot try to 1v1 on the red carpet, and TSM makes it a 4-0 game.
Another smash on the top side for TSM. Huni's rumble turns out will reign supreme in the clash of fire and lightning up there. Spica is constantly ganking up on top side, and they make good.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel so much of a Huni diff to me as it is a Spica diff going top, helping this out, making sure Huni's got the advantage. Jenkins wanted to jump in because he had Contractz behind him, but he underestimated the enemy jungler.
Yeah, I think also Jenkins needs to flash the Cataclysm there. Regardless, Tactical now under attack again.
Tactical at 300 HP, another heal from Shenyi, keeping him from being too close to death. Okay, close but no cigar. The story of the bottom lane attempts on Tactical's life, as now the Rift Herald summoned up in topside will find a charge onto the tier 2 turret. TSM with a nearly 4,000 gold lead, 12 minutes in. They might be eliminated from playoffs right now, but they're looking to drag CLG down with them. Poome's gonna have his jump interrupted. He continues to take damage. Tactical can't find enough to kill him just yet. Takeover makes his way into the fight, chains onto Luger, force out a flash. Contractz wants to get away. There's the safeguard to get him back out of the range of TSM. No kills either side here in the bottom lane.
Leave it to TSM, Flowers, when all the pressure is off. They've been eliminated from qualifying for playoffs. Now, without the pressure, they are firing all over the map, chasing CLG out of their own jungle now as they try and scrape together a Gromp kill while Tactical finishes off the extra turret damage on bottom.
Well, we've got our next dragon spawn. Spica's going to go after that one. TSM has total control over this area. And importantly, this second Drake is going down at 13 minutes. So the teleports are not unleashed yet. That means Jenkins isn't able to come down here and try and stop anything. That will be a pretty important point of the game for CLG to try to utilize the extra TP. But man, 4,000 deficit 13 minutes into the game. it makes you wonder just how above and beyond CLG are going to have to go to stabilize this, because TSM has made this a very difficult game for them.
Yeah, I think honestly with the split that TSM have had, this might be their biggest gold lead before 15 minutes that they've ever had. Now they're attacking Palafox to get the flash and his life.
He's already flashed away, and the Cataclysm brings the pot while Huni brings the hot. Now Takeover looks for a little more, but it ain't happening. CLG loses one, and TSM just keeps the good times rolling.
Yeah, that combo is so old, but so good.
Oh, yeah.
Jarvan and Rumble, they've still got it. Taking over the other half of CLG jungle now, Flowers. They already invaded on blue quadrant. Now Spica takes away Raptors and red buff after that. This is TSM making a stand. Yes, they may have been. Oh, wait, Jenkins, never mind. He gets it back.
All right,
the hope is alive, Flowers.
Okay.
Brambleback has been conquered by CLG.
When you're behind this much in the game, you have to take any victory you can get, and you call that one a dub. No red buff for Spica. Jenkins grabbing that one, but bottom side, it's Tactical and Shenyi making this a 2-0 game in terms of turrets. Drakes are tied, and that's the best thing CLG's got going for them right now. Times are tough, Kobe.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a cool conversation, too, from the side of TSM that, you know, since they've had such a roller coaster with the organization, you know, since the last couple of weeks when they, you know, actually aired out a lot of the dirty laundry, they just kind of unleashed Spica and Huni, and they're like, basically, they're free to pick the champions that they want to pick, and they've gone to their comfort. Yeah. And it has worked out, you know, in the majority of them sense. Not all of them. This definitely hasn't smoothed everything out. It's not all rainbows and sunshine for them, but definitely has gone better than at least the beginning of the split. Meanwhile, CLG, hopes are still alive. Your eyes still need to be focused on this game because it has such big implications for the organization, for this team. It would be huge if they could still make it into playoffs after being 10th.
Contractz going for something a little bit crazy here. He tries to make it happen, but Jenkins with the follow-up is exhausted, so the damage isn't there. Spica traps them all in the Cataclysm, and if CLG hadn't already collapsed, they would have collapsed right now. Poome might die thereafter. Barely escapes with the thick skin, and CLG are desperate for anything.
All right, who was it? Who had too much hope? Who had too much faith? When you start believing in CLG, this happens.
Oh man, this one is not looking good. Contractz forced that so hard and just got absolutely nothing out of it. Let's take another look at how it went down.
Well, Flowers, they're gonna go out with a blaze of glory. CLG are all in here. Contractz, he flashes, he ward hops, he kicks over. Jenkins tries to fall as well. He flashes over, he gets exhausted. And the heals from Soraka ultimate comes in as well. So that means no TSM member will even go down in this exchange, in this scramble. TSM didn't even have Takeover there. They didn't even have LeBlanc, the assassin, at the beginning of this fight. Tactical then takes a little ride for fun down the Raptor pit wall there to see if anybody was lazy recalling. But honestly, with the pressure lifted, TSM are all smiles and laughter now.
Yeah. I mean, well, especially after a play like that, man, I don't know. It seems so forced. I understand that CLG is trying to make something happen and they feel that pressure, but I just don't see a world where that play ends up being the answer after Spica's already disengaged it. But CLG are now 6,500 gold down. It's 17 minutes into the game. I'm struggling to find a way back in for counter logic games.
See, the CLG, this has been true of them in Spring Split. If they get behind, then they still go for the most aggressive comeback possible play that they can have. So, you know, seeing that as well, this is not an aberration. They definitely do have that kind of work hard, play hard mentality. I'll call it.
Okay.
Right now, Contractz, he's playing pretty hard down here on the bottom side. He gets out with his life, though.
Yep, that's at least something. He's able to walk it off, but now top side. That tier 3 turret, man, it's what, 20% HP left on it. TSM walks away from that one. They'll plant down some wards. They'll sweep out the CLG wards. TSM owns the whole map. CLG is just trying to figure out somewhere they can go and not get smacked in the face as soon as they try to check a brush. But TSM are working on the tier 2 turret here in the mid lane. Want to find a 5-0 lead in that objective count. Shenyi's going to get jumped on, but it's Palafox who's likely to die here first. Tactical goes on a killing spree as he disengages off to the left, and the Cataclysm traps Contractz in for a second kill. TSM 10-0.
Yeah, I mean, objective bounties are up, Flowers, and they should be. TSM controlling most of the map at this point, pushing up all lanes, only 18.5 minutes into this game. Baron's not even on the table. That's a good thing for Baron because Baron would die.
Now TSM, they're gonna continue sticking around here just for that last little bit of damage. Tactical gets taken low, but Huni's ready for the counterattack, and it's his Equalizer and Flame Spitter combo that picks up the kill onto Luger, and he won't even die in return. Poome tries to save his ally as he runs away. Jenkins returning some fire, but Tactical and Takeover are both able to get themselves out. Now Contractz jumps back in, and finally CLG is gonna grab themselves a little bit of something. Shut down on Tactical. Both bottom laners of TSM have fallen, but the team as a whole is 8,000 gold ahead.
Well, well, well. TSM coming back to thwart CLG once again, Flowers. Two organizations intertwined throughout literally the entire history of League of Legends. They existed before the LCS existed. And Takeover, he's going to exist after Jenkins ceases to exist.
Yeah, Jenkins don't exist no more. Takeover just pops him. Third kill for the LeBlanc.
All right.
That's so tough, man. You're just trying to recall in the brush. LeBlanc jumps out, explodes you.
All right, it's okay, because I still don't doubt CLG. You know me, Flowers. That's my brand. I can't doubt them. Here's what you.
He's a man of his brand.
Here's what you got to do.
Okay.
You go bounty hunting. There are 3 nice, juicy bounties over here on the side of TSM. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to get them, but those are the goals. You got to get paid here. See if you can pick one of them off.
Well, Huni just dropped the Equalizer, and Luger's trying to get out of town. He's got Contractz next to him. Spica's just going to lead the charge. Contractz with a kick. Palafox looks for a way into the fight. He finds Shenyi, but now the Cataclysm's going to trap him. Shenyi's already down. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade here at the start as Jenkins goes in, looking to clean up some more. TSM have lost 2, and for the first time this game, CLG find a good fight.
That's why you never doubt them, Flowers. TSM, they dropped the Soraka first, and that's the only instance that we've seen them actually lose out in any of these fights. Soraka has been doing so much work for them. Yeah, it's the heals, but it's also the silences. He has had really good silences, you know, on Tahm, Kench, and multiple members. So here's another look at it. And once again, Palafox is looking at him every time. This is the second time. Palafox ults in onto Shenyi. Within the fear duration, they burst him down. And that rocket from Luger on the outside gives the extra damage that CLG needed. The problem for CLG is that they also lost Contractz in their efforts to do this in the, you know, frontline initiation there, so they couldn't get any objective afterwards, but they do need every bit of gold. And what did I say? The bounties, my friend. They hunted down bounty number 1. They got it off of Huni. Huni. Well, it's Huni's evil twin.
Quest updated, objective 1 of 3 complete. Now you have to do the next 2 objectives to finish the quest. Worth noting, at least Luger was able to get some loot from it. He's got his Bloodthirster completed for his second item, so he's 2 out of 3 items along the way there. But the problem is, man, Spica has an Umbral Glaive here on the Jarvan, a very aggressive option in terms of the stats, but it's going to do wonders for clearing out more vision and continuing TSM dominance over the map.
Yeah, meanwhile, I was highlighting Huni's book. He upgraded to the Medjai's early on, and he still has 5 pages after the death. So gonna have to keep on focusing some kills onto that Rumble. It does mean there's no stopwatch and no Zonias on the Rumble, so no safety there. So it is a killable target. Jenkins here is gonna have to get out of TSM territory, which we've decided is all 4 quadrants of the jungle.
Well, one thing that's nice about the book, too, that I don't think gets talked about enough is ever since the item rework, the book gives you a bonus mythic thing. Like, this book is cheaper than probably a real-life book from a college, and you can just get a bonus mythic completion thing from it. It's just a great, cheap way to keep stacking that passive up.
Yeah. Sven also pointed out to me, C9 Sven, that the support items also, once they're fully upgraded, do. Meanwhile,
Shenyi again, good target.
Again.
Palafox again, the accuracy. CLG again, finding the fight. 2-0 against TSM in this one, but it's Huni taking objectives elsewhere that could cost them.
Oh,
double
TP,
teleport coming in now.
Takeover.
Takeover wants to get some damage before they make their way up there, and Jenkins and Palafox are now at half HP. They've teleported into their own demise, or have they? Huni now down to a third as well, but both kills come through and TSM equalizes. Now, can Contractz pick up another? Huni going back to the safety of a teleport of an ally coming in as Poome absorbs the auto attacks from Tactical. Takeover's made his way up. Tactical over the wall. Contractz in retreat as Luger fires off a couple of rockets, but he's got to be careful. He can't tank this up. Takeover jumps in. Contractz running away. Luger's taken away to safety, but Contractz is taken away. He's taken down. Tactical tries to fight. A double kill back over. Tactical stays alive, and CLG are ace.
And that's going to be Baron Flowers. Tactical gets his hands on Zeri. He says, you know what, Luger? You can have Jinx from Arcane. I got Zeri from League of Legends.
And she'll probably be in Arcane in the future, too, because she's from Zod. Coming to the replay.
Spoilers! Oh, my God! Honestly, though, this was really set up by Takeover. You know, Takeover kind of sends the care package over to Tactical and Huni here by going in for that LeBlanc chunk as the teleports are expiring from the bottom side of the map. And so that allows this whole sequence of events. Very important chunk there from Takeover initially on those teleport targets. And then Tactical just goes wild on this Zeri. He loves this champion for a reason. You know, he is himself a zoomer, and he gets to fire it off in this one, making full use.
Spit my drink
Flashing over the wall with 20 HP as well.
That comment was so good and so stupid at the same time. That was perfect, dude. Well done. Spica tries to go for a Cataclysm, but Contractz has a flash away. Oh my good, okay. I was like, is he actually gonna get out of it? But unfortunately, Titanic Hydra has a very large AoE when wielded by Zeri, so Tactical can pick that one up. 5v4 on the map, Baroned up TSM, 11,000 gold lead. CLG is going to need a couple of miracles for this one.
It's okay. This is
You still have faith?
This is the org. This is
Still
the
have the
team.
faith.
They manufacture miracles, Flowers, and they're gonna need 2 right now. TSM are taking the base.
Let no man ever say that Kobe was not faithful to CLG. Mid lane, tier 3, turret, mid lane, inhibitor. They're both out of there. Somebody shoot the damn thing. Okay, there we go. Takeover.
The honor is yours.
Yeah, they give it away to him. And now bottom side, 1 tier 2 turret left standing here. TSM's going to fix that real quick. Couple more autos into that. And then CLG's got to be prepared. They got all 5 players alive again now. They're going to have to make their defense. It just comes down to, do they choose to try to defend underneath this remaining tier 3, or do they try to fight them underneath Nexus turrets? Baron's still up and running here for another 75 seconds. Equalizer dropped down on top of the tier 3, so TSM is able to break through. Palafox goes in for the Everfrost root with the counterattack from Spica, and TSM prevents any follow-up. Tactical, unafraid with Shenyi behind him. Spica now going for the Cataclysm yet again. Luger having to flash away. Contractz left to the wolves of TSM as they push onwards towards Nexus turrets. CLG are stuck in the fountain. TSM continue the push. 13,000 gold lead. TSM can't take damage. Shenyi just keeps healing it off. Tactical's not even concerned about turrets. He wants to go for the kills. It's about sending a message. And the message that TSM is sending to CLG, you ain't making playoffs either. Spica backs away now as Luger tries to find any sort of a way to hang on. Rumble moving forward, Flame Spitter ready to go. CLG just trying and trying, but try as they might. TSM will grab CLG and drag them under.
Tactical with the Zeri pop-off. 10-2, my friend. Huni's Rumble. Spica plus Huni in the early game. Spica punished topside so much. They played on CLG's tendency of using everything towards bottom side of the map. So they attacked topside over and over. Really nicely managed as well. But the big one to me was when TSM win the 3v4 bottom side, the first attempt at the dive from CLG, because that was actually set up quite well.
Turned around even better. turned around even better. And thus, a third tombstone appears in the graveyard of Spring Split playoffs. RIP to CLG. TSM.
It was a fun one, though.
Yeah, we got to see some madness here. TSM will eliminate CLG now. We're heading over to a break, but when we return, LeTigress is talking with Spica, and the desk is ready to break down playoff possibilities. See y'all there.
Da 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 da, do like da da da.